Love him or hate him, Floyd is one of the most successful athletes of all time, and there's no doubt about how he got there. If you know anything about Floyd, then you know his mantra is hard work and dedication. That's how he got his cars, his girls, his belts, and most importantly, his TBE status. The good news is this mindset and his discipline is applicable to just about any area in life. So in this video, let's talk about Floyd's work ethic and how you can apply his mindset to your life. Number one is to work when you don't feel like it. A lot of people wait till they feel good to get something done, but if you wait till you feel good to do something, you'll probably never make any real progress. The reality is humans are biologically wired to be lazy, and that was meant as a survival mechanism back when we used to hunt in the wild. Because we didn't know when our next meal would come, our body automatically learns to conserve energy after each meal, which is what gives you that lazy feeling, right? Human beings are meant to try to conserve energy in order to save it for when it's time to hunt. Problem is, that's not how life works at all in the current day and age. Currently, we're forced to work 8 to 12 to 16 hours a day in order to reach our goals, and we don't have time to conserve energy for the next hunt because we get all the food that we need, but our bodies haven't evolved to do that. So what you have to do is you have to learn how to push yourself. You got to learn how to set triggers to get yourself to work even when you don't feel like it. And once you do, you'll see that you get into the flow and you get the work done anyway. It seems hard at first, and then you do it, and then you realize you feel accomplished because you actually got through that barrier of being a lazy monkey. Taking Floyd as an example, you can see it on 24/7 or the All Access shows, and that's that Floyd trains after press tours, after party appearances. He trains night, he trains day, he trains all the time. There was actually one scene where he's driving to the gym at 1 o'clock in the morning and he says, I don't want to go to the gym right now. I don't feel like going to the gym. I want to stay home and I want to watch movies in my theater. But I'm going because this is what it takes. No matter how you feel that day, no matter what day it is, get up and put 100% into your work, no matter what that 100% looks like. A crappy workout is better than no workout. A crappy work day is better than no work day, right? Make whatever progress you can for that day and get to it. Tip number 2 is to work overtime. One thing that Floyd is known for is clocking ridiculous hours at the gym. He actually spends more time at the gym than most people spend in their office desks. He clocks in about 60 hours a week. Now, believe it or not, most fighters train actually only 20 to 30 hours a week and spend the rest of the time recovering or maybe studying fights and having leisure time to get their mind off of training. Floyd pretty much doubles that, and it's no wonder why he is in the position that he's in, and also why you've never seen him tired in the ring. There was not one fight where you saw Floyd tired. So work overtime, right? Do more than what your competitors are doing. Do more than what your peers are doing. Don't fall into the sheep mentality and just say, well, it's enough because that's what everybody else is doing. It's never enough, right? Have your own mind and push yourself to work beyond what regular people are doing. This way you could get a few years worth of progress in 1 year. If you just double the amount of time of your work, you could get 2 years worth of progress in 1 year, and that could have incredible results on your life. So rise above that standard and do more than everybody else is doing. If you aren't successful in whatever you're doing, it either comes down to laziness or ignorance, and both of those things you have complete control over. It all comes down to the work that you put into it, right? You get out of it what you put into it. So tip number 3 is to do things differently and do more of them. As an example, most fighters follow a similar cookie cutter approach. They do X amount of rounds on the bag, they do X amount of rounds of sparring, they do X amounts of road work, right? What Floyd does, for example, is he spars without rounds. He works out without rounds, right? He just kind of goes and goes and goes. His heavy bag routine that I've covered before, he can go up to 45 minutes hitting the bag that way. It's insane. The guy's in an insane level of shape, and that's because he doesn't do what everybody else is doing. He kind of figures out on his own what would be best to get him to accomplish the goal that he needs to accomplish, which is be in shape and to win on fight day. All you have to do is apply the same mentality in whatever sport or field that you're in. For example, it's always bothered me when sprinters lose races, right? Because you know the world record. So why even show up if you can't beat that, right? Your goal should always be to beat the best out there, right? And if you beat the best, you're going to accomplish your goals, right? Whatever you're doing, if you're the best at it, you're going to get to where you want to be in life. Outdo the guy on your left, outdo the guy on your right, and you will make progress. So always do things your way, right? Just because a bunch of billionaires wake up at 5 a.m. doesn't mean you have to, right? You could wake up at 1 p.m. as long as you put in the hours and go to sleep late, right? It doesn't matter what somebody else is doing and what works for somebody else. Focus on what works for you, which is exactly what Floyd does, right? He doesn't do road work in the morning, and he doesn't do road work first. He does road work after his training, and he does it really late at night, right? He kind of found a way that works for him, and he's confident enough to say, I'm just gonna do what I think is best, and it'll take me where it'll take me. The next tip is to never complain, never cry, just get to work. This is one of Floyd's mantras that he uses on the heavy bag, and it came from years of wisdom that he's had in developing his craft. I'm sure like any successful person, at some point you realize complaining just doesn't work. So anytime you find yourself complaining, just think about what you should be doing instead, and then go do that very thing. We all do it from time to time, and we call it venting or getting things off our chest, but really we're just getting ourselves into a defeatist and negative attitude, right? Instead, talk yourself up and tell yourself that it's no big deal what's going on, right? That any obstacle you could overcome, and any obstacle usually has within it a seed of success, a seed of opportunity that could lead to success. Prime your mind for success and positivity, and complaining does the opposite. So instead of complaining, just work. The next tip is to find your own motivation. Don't let what others want drive you to do the things that you do. Instead, focus on what you truly want, not what society tells you want. Maybe you are motivated by things like money and a big house and nice cars, and that's okay as long as that's what you want, right? But maybe you're not. Maybe materialistic things don't mean much to you, and you're only focusing on them because you want to keep up with your peers. And that's the wrong thing to do. You want to focus on what drives you. Is it helping someone? Is it helping your family? Is it helping the world, right? Or is it just a purely selfish need? Whatever it is, find your own motivation. Whatever motivates you and drives you, think about what you truly want in life. Maybe you don't want to be a millionaire or gazillionaire, right? Maybe you just want a decent, stable life where you can travel and just live freely, right? Whatever that is for you, find what drives you, and then use that motivation to get up and work when you don't feel like it. If you look at Floyd, he doesn't follow the status quo at all, right? Things that we're told not to do, to be humble and to not spend and live lavishly. He goes against all of that because that's what he wants, right? He doesn't have just one woman in his life. He has very many women in his life. And again, he's just structuring his life how he wants to live it. And a lot of people criticize him for it, but he doesn't care. He just goes on about his life. Another thing Floyd does well and that you should be doing in your life is affirmations. Use affirmations for mental toughness. Whether you're training, whether you're working, right? Build yourself up. Don't talk yourself down. Tell yourself you're going to get there. Tell yourself that you have all the skills necessary to get there, right? Talk about the things that you're grateful for in your mind constantly. Think about positive things. Build yourself up. Build your confidence up, right? And boost yourself up, and have certain affirmations that you say to yourself daily. Whether you say them out loud or to yourself or to somebody else, it doesn't matter. Just build yourself up on a daily basis. You see Floyd doing this all the time in training, in interviews, right? He's always constantly talking himself up and brainwashing his subconscious to believe all the shit that he's saying. And eventually your subconscious will go, well, this is reality for us. It's reality that we're best. It's reality that we're hard workers. It's reality that we're good at what we do. And then it'll make that reality happen around you. One of the funniest moments on HBO's 24/7 is when Floyd's running and he says, I talk a lot of shit and now I gotta back it up. So that's something you want to do in your life too. And it's actually a great motivator, is to talk yourself into a corner. Tell everybody about your goals, right? Tell people that you care about, whose opinion you care about, whose opinion of you that you care about, and tell them what you're looking to accomplish, and have them hold you accountable to those goals, right? This way you have an extra motivating force behind every action that you take. So all I'm saying really is talk your shit, talk it loud, and then you'll be forced to try and back it up in your mind. The last tip is to work smarter, not just harder. You got to focus on the things that are actually going to bring you progress and not just activity, right? Don't get caught up so much in activity that you're doing a lot of busy work that doesn't actually progress you anywhere, right? The hustle is focusing on something that's actually going to take you to that next growth stage. And working smarter often includes knowing when to rest, right? You have to know when you're just burnt out and you're making bad decisions and it's time to just unplug and take a break. There's a big difference between being tired, where you actually start making bad decisions, to just being lazy. And you got to find that middle ground. You got to find how to feel that out and know the difference between the two. Know when to push and know when to rest. Floyd talks about that all the time. Instead of going out partying after training or after fights, he'll actually go home, get a massage, and go to bed to make sure he gets that recuperation to work the next day, right? That's a big part of working smarter. So know when to rest, and always look for opportunities to work smarter while working harder, right? Those two go hand in hand. Just remember, talent is overrated and you can accomplish anything if you put your mind to it. So bust your ass, dedicate yourself to your craft, and see what the future brings. I'm Sean, Brawl Brothers, and I'll brawl with you guys next time.